The echo of protection. I was born in 1990, grew up in a small town in Kansas. We had one of those ranch-style houses, all one floor, 3 bedrooms. It was just me and my mom, Dorothy, for most of my life. My dad left when I was a baby. She was a good mom, as far as I remember. We didn't have much money, but she made sure I always had what I needed. Dorothy worked as a waitress at a downtown diner. Always tired, but always kind. We'd watch movies together at night. She'd tuck me in, kiss my forehead, and tell me she loved me. I felt safe, except at bedtime. I must have been 6 or 7 the first time I noticed it. One night, after she tucked me in, I heard the floorboards creak after she turned off the light. Not down the hall, but right by my bed. I remember freezing, thin, my small shoulders hunched, listening. Then I heard her breathing, slow, heavy, right beneath me. I leaned over the edge and whispered, "Mom?" She didn't answer, just that soft little chuckle. It wasn't mean. It wasn't playful, just strange. I called for her louder. After a few seconds, she crawled out from under the bed like it was the most normal thing in the world. I saw her pale face, her tired eyes, but she smiled at me and said, "Go to sleep, honey. Mommy's here." Then she left the room. The next night, the same thing. I heard her crawl under right after the lights went out. The soft thud of her knees and hands against the floorboards, the shifting of the mattress as she settled in. Then the breathing. I was too little to really question it. I thought maybe it was just a game she liked to play. But the older I got, the more I realized it wasn't a game, that it became a routine. She'd tuck me in as always, turn off the light, and then she'd get under the bed. Every single night, and then she started doing little things. She'd tap on the wood under my mattress in strange rhythms. 3 taps, then 2, then 4. Sometimes it almost sounded like music, other times just random patterns. If I moved or sat up, she'd stop until I lay down again. A couple of times, I caught her peeking from the edge of the bed. I'd feel her eyes on me and look down, and there she was. Dorothy's emaciated face barely visible in the dark, one eye glowing in the faint. Hallway light, lidless it seemed, expressionless, just watching. I stopped sleeping well. I'd lie stiff under the covers, my thin body tense, too afraid to move or call out to her. If I tried to get out of bed, she'd grab my ankle, not hard, just enough to stop me. Then she'd let out that chuckle again, that strange, soft chuckle. I never told anyone. How do you explain something like that when you're a kid? I figured no one would believe me. It wasn't every night that something scary happened. Some nights, she just stayed there quietly. I'd hear her whispering to herself sometimes. Words I couldn't understand, soft and constant, as if she were talking to someone I couldn't hear. This went on for years. During the day, she was perfectly normal. She'd make my lunch, help with homework, joke with me, hug me. I remember trying to work up the courage to ask her about it once, when I was about 10. I blurted out something like, "Mom, why do you sleep under my bed?" She just blinked at me and smiled. "Oh, honey, I don't do that. You must be having silly dreams." But that night, she was there again. And the knocking was louder. When I was 9 or 10, I stopped looking under the bed. I started sleeping on the couch when I could escape. Eventually, when I turned 11, she told me I was old enough to have a lock on my bedroom door. She never came back into my room after that. I don't know why she did it. I don't know what changed. The awakening of truth, she passed away when I was 23, which would be 2013. Since I was born in 1990, cancer. The last few weeks were a blur of confusion and intermittent lucidity. An endless torment. I, Dave, with my slumped shoulders and deep, dark-circled blue-gray eyes, was right there beside her. But one night, That night was different. A chilling clarity came over her. My mother, Dorothy, pale and frail, her body skeletal, hair thin and white, suddenly opened her eyes. Her eyes, once lifeless and sunken, now glowed with a supernatural intensity, like dying embers fixed on me. She extended a trembling hand, skin stretched over bones, and gripped my wrist with surprising, almost painful strength. "I kept you safe, you know. You were never alone at night." "Never," she said, her voice hoarse, raspy, but incredibly clear, with an insane glint in her eyes. A frigid shiver ran down my spine. I still didn't understand what she meant. Or maybe I was beginning to understand what she'd hidden, and what it was that protected me days later in my mother Dorothy's empty house. As I packed up the few remaining things, I entered my old childhood bedroom, a place I'd avoided for years. The room was dusty, the bed still there, untouched. I knelt, my knees creaking, and looked beneath the bed. Nothing. Just the old, dusty wooden floorboards. "Silly dreams, Mom?" I whispered. I ran my hand along the wall, my pale, thin fingers brushing against an almost imperceptible fissure in the wooden trim. With a little force, the trim gave way, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside, wrapped in an old, faded cloth, was a leather-bound journal, stained and cracked with age. That night, sitting on the worn living room sofa, my hands trembled slightly as I opened the journal. The pages were yellowed, my mother Dorothy's. Handwriting was hurried and nervous. The dates began to coincide with my first silly dreams. I read, "He's growing up. The creature is getting bolder. I feel it on the edges of the house at night. It wants my son. It wants his warmth, his essence. But I won't let it. Never. I can't let it." One page was marked, folded, and stained with what looked like dried blood. He called for me. I was there, under the bed. I had to be fast. The creature was in the room. I saw it, its elongated shadow creeping across the floor, its eyes glowing in the dark. I fought it, there in the dark, right beneath him. The muffled screams, its laugh, it was so much like mine. I drove it away. For now, he's safe. I am the mother. I am the shield. No matter the cost. A deep chill permeated me, a terror that transcended time. The knocking on the wood. It wasn't knocking. It was blows. A silent, desperate struggle. A battle fought in the darkness. Every single night, the new home I returned to the bedroom, the journal in my hands, its weight now unbearable. I knelt again, terrified, trembling uncontrollably. I opened the last page of the journal. My mother's handwriting was almost illegible, shaky, written shortly before her death. "The cancer is taking me. I feel it. I feel the end. But the creature, it's stronger. It's waiting. It was always waiting. I kept it away, but I won't be his shield anymore. My son, he'll have to fight alone now. Its laugh, it's my inheritance. It doesn't just want a life, it wants a home. And he is the perfect home." I closed the journal, terror crawling over every pore of my body, invading my mind. My mother's soft, strange chuckle. The creature's chuckle. They were the same laugh. I stood up slowly, feeling the air in the room grow heavy, dense, as if something was materializing around me. The bedroom door creaked, moved by a non-existent breeze, but I knew there was no wind. I heard it. A creak on the floor, coming from the hallway. A sound I know from vivid nightmares. A sound I heard every night. Not down the hall, but very close. To my bed, the faint light from the hallway flickered, dimming and brightening. Then I heard it. Its breathing, slow, heavy, right beneath me. The sound of something large settling in. I froze, my muscles tense, my heart pounding uncontrollably. My blue-gray eyes were wide with horror. The door softly clicked shut behind me, plunging the room into near total darkness. "Mom?" I whispered, my voice trembling, almost inaudible. There was no answer. Just a soft chuckle. Not malicious, not playful, just strange. And terribly, mortally familiar. I felt the slight thud of knees and hands against the floorboards, the shifting of the mattress as it settled in. The smell of damp earth and something rotten filled the air. I slowly leaned down, my body in a state of catatonic shock, to look under the bed in the dark. Two eyes glowed in the gloom, like burning coals. A blank stare, just watching, cold and empty. And then a face manifested from the darkness. A face I'd known my whole life, pale, with a distorted smile that stretched too wide, revealing the gum line. The creature, a macabre copy of Dorothy, crawled out from under the bed. Its body was elongated and unnaturally flexible, its joints seeming to bend backward. It rose over me, its body stretching grotesquely, and leaned in, its mouth opening into a smile that exposed sharp, uneven, steak-like teeth. "Go to sleep, darling. Mommy's here. And now, I'm never leaving," it whispered in Dorothy's voice, a macabre, guttural sound that echoed in my head. The creature extended a skeletal hand, its fingers long and pale, towards my ankle, and I felt its cold, firm grip. It wasn't a touch of protection. It was a touch of possession. I felt as if the cold pierced my skin, penetrating my bones. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my throat. My eyes filled with tears of pure terror, a primal despair. I wasn't safe. I never was. My mother wasn't a shield. She was the bait, or worse. She became the very thing that protected me, so the creature could finally have an eternal home. And that home was me. The ranch-style house is dark and silent, immersed in the night's darkness. Suddenly, a faint, pulsing light flickers on in my bedroom, like an irregular heartbeat. And then, from inside the house, a soft, strange chuckle echoes into the night, carried by the wind, almost inaudible, but omnipresent. There are no more knocking sounds, no more creaks. Just silence, and the promise of a constant presence.